Hello and welcome to this week's show. And this week I've been worrying about my own health. I've had a cold now for quite a few weeks, and I understand the mind-body connection uh, between my cold, and I'm now coming into the fifth week of having this cold. It's been quite distressing for me, but I am the sort of person that actually doesn't go and see her doctor. I haven't been to the doctors now since, I would say, around 2010. Such is my belief that I think that we are quite capable of finding the resources that we need to heal ourselves. I know that everybody doesn't agree with me, and they absolutely believe in the system that provides them the orthodox medication route. And today I've got someone on the show that is really singing my tune, because she believes similar things as well from her own experience, and that's Naomi Garza. So please welcome Naomi to the show, and she wants to share with you her passion about why she came to similar conclusions to me within the health system. Hello Naomi, how are you today?
Good.
And I know that you're going to tell us quite a story about, well, it's not a story, it's absolutely true, about your daughter's health and what happened that gave you this absolute passion to try holistic health. So would you like to tell the audience how that came around?
Sure. My youngest daughter was born not premature or any of those things, born totally healthy. A few weeks after, got very sick with the virus and ended back in the hospital. And back when they would put those little tents around the infants and had really strong respiratory issues. And then within a first couple years, she was in and out of the hospital more than once during the year. And this carried on for a long time, where we went through pulmonologist and we went through every nebulizer, every inhaler there is known out in prescription world. And it led to me to get into nursing to figure out how I could manage and take care of my daughter the best way. As a parent, you want to be able to provide and take care of your kid, and we want to take care of them the best thing you can. And to see someone struggling with a simple thing as breathing, it's pretty difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So she would get pneumonia every single year. And it wasn't till it was my uncle who opened my eyes to some things that would help boost her immune system and help us out. I tried all sorts of other things before at the health food stores. They never really helped.
So you talk about health, and one of the questions that we will address today is that how you can take 80% of care of yourself by diet and by the products that you use. So this is really interesting that your uncle was actually way ahead of you in suggesting the things that he suggested to you.
Yeah, he is in his 70s, and when he got into it, it helped him with his allergies, and he injured his knee. And as the family nurse, I'm asking him how he's doing with his pain control and making sure he's taking his pain medicines correctly, because that's a big thing that happens with a lot of people. And he's like, I'm not taking anything for pain. I'm using, and I'm like, what?
Wow.
It sparked my ears. And he gave me stuff for Christmas, and I'm like, I had to look into it. And we were blessed at that time to actually seeing a medical doctor that we did follow that was using the same products we were, and she wanted us on certain products. And I was like, I need to do a lot more research, and because I've tried lots of things,
Yeah.
but I've tried essential oils before in the past. I just never had them work as well as these ones have worked for our health. And so it's been a wonderful surprise. And my passion turned because 10 years of working in the hospital system, I see the problems with our healthcare system, and that we're not proactive in people's hair and preventing diseases. And we can do more in educating people that they can empower and take care of themselves at home.
Absolutely.
We don't have to see the doctor. We just for checkups, really, or we haven't really in 4 years. So we've been able to manage everything at home.
So you talk about 3 simple steps to have a clean life, and that talks about diet, your home products, and what you use on yourself. So would you like to take us through those 3 steps, please, Naomi?
Sure. So it all starts with foundation of having a good, healthy diet. I'm sure a lot of you guys know that we don't eat enough green stuff. So if you have some incorporated thing of getting something green in your diet or drinking a very nice clean water, a lot of our waters are not so great. So having a good water is really important, since you are 70% of water in your body.
Mm-hmm.
So those are some simple ways that we're going to, keep yourself body healthy. Another is incorporating supplements in your life. The food is not the way it used to be 100 years ago. It's lacking nutrients.
Yes.
So we need supplements. And so having a good supplements and a good regimen, where you're on a regimen every day, that you're doing something every day, that is going to keep your immune system up. The biggest other thing I just popped in my head that always is sleep.
Yeah.
Just Super Bowl happened here in Atlanta just recently, and the New England Patriots coach or coaches would actually put bracelets on their players to make sure they're getting REM sleep,
Right.
because it affects their how well they function.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think a lot of us will not put sleep as a priority, and sleep was an issue for me, and I had to work on it so that I'm getting better sleep, because it really go along with your health and your mental health and your physical health if your sleep.
So can we wind back to the first thing that you discussed, and that is food, because there's a very common term that I've heard quite a lot recently, and that is that food is our medicine.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there are lots of issues with the food that many people eat now due to many different reasons. That would be the way that food is produced now, the processed foods, also GMO, which we've talked about a lot. But there are simple strategies that people can use in order to make their food more organic, even if there are pesticides used on those foods. But the difficulty is with the genetically modified foods. How can someone avoid buying genetically modified foods, and what would that do to the person in terms of nutritional value?
That is a good question. There in the US, thankfully, we have a little marker that's on we're buying foods, and it will let us know that it's non-GMO. I'm hoping they're doing that everywhere globally now.
Unfortunately, not in the UK now.
Oh, wow. That makes it very hard.
It does make it very difficult. So people in the UK buying genetically modified foods, because of the deal that was done between the government and Monsanto, they did this 5-year deal where they weren't going to put on food labels that it was genetically modified. So it's difficult for us here to establish what we're buying, apart from we know that it lasts for a very long time.
That is difficult. So you would have to know some of the products then. Some of the top things that are been genetically modified. Some of them are wheat, corn, and soy. Those are the biggest ones in the US that are GMO'd.
Yeah.
And I stay away from soy. And they said, what I've read is that 98% of the soy out there is genetically modified. Mm-hmm. And then it messes with your hormones anyway. So I stay away from soy.
Yes. I mean, a lot of people will, when I talk to people about food, they really don't take it on board at all. And they say, well, that's nonsense. The government would never give us anything that's not good for us. They have such belief in the system that the system is actually looking after them. And there is, unfortunately, a need for GMO, because some people wouldn't get the food that they needed if it wasn't genetically modified. It is meant to prolong the life of the food. One of my other guests that was on, she talked about how the value in minerals and vitamins has changed in food.
Yeah.
And what she told me was astounding. She said a peach that you got in the 1950s, it was full of minerals and vitamins, but if you were wanting to get the same amount of nutritional value from that peach today, you would have to eat around 12 to 15 peaches.
Yep.
And that shocked me that, actually probably most of us are malnutrition, suffering from malnutrition, because we're not getting the correct nutrition because the food is so watered down in its nutrition.
Yeah, I agree. It is an issue.
It is.
It is a big issue. This is why I'm highly on my supplements, and I feel better. If I go off of my vitamin supplements, I don't feel as well.
Mm-hmm.
And my energy lacks.
And in terms of vitamin supplements, what sort of things would you suggest?
A whole food supplement vitamin. So I'm on one that is a whole food based supplement vitamin.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that the U.S. is known for is having more fried foods and more the wrong fatty acid, and we don't have enough omega-3 fatty acids, and that's so important to your overall reducing massive disease processes. And there's multiple studies that prove that.
Yes.
So, and that there are vegan forms. My daughter is a vegan, and so we make sure we have a vegan form for her when it comes to supplementing your diet with a healthy amount of omega-3 fatty acids. And
so would that be a separate supplement altogether for the omega, or just one multivitamin?
The company I'm with actually has a vegan set of vitamins. And so they have a vegan set of omega-3s. They're the only ones I know that have a vegan form of omega-3s that have like a flax oil in them. I can't remember all exactly in what's inside of those, but they are completely based and not lacking no fish product and no fish oil in it, and a completely vegan base. Because those, I've heard it from another great podcast. He goes, "Oh, well, I just do a spoonful of flaxseed," and I tried it. I was like, "Oh, have you ever tried flaxseed and just trying to eat it?" You're like, "Oh, that is so bad."
So Naomi, just humour me for one moment, because this is a real life conversation that I had with someone that I just want to share. And I talked to them about having some vitamins because of the lack of nutrition in food these days. And they said, "Oh, that's absolute garbage. Any vitamins that you take just pee straight through you."
Yeah.
And that is an actual conversation that I've had with someone. I do take a multivitamin myself because even though I try to eat as well as I possibly can, I know that food is not as nutritionally valuable as it could be. So there's nothing much I could reply to this person. If that's their belief, that's their belief.
Mm-hmm. But doctors are even though they have barely any nutrition classes, they still actually have been told enough where everyone should be on some kind of multivitamin. I see that all the time with patients. They're not on a good multivitamin, but they are on some form of multivitamin. So majority of medical doctors are going to ask you if you are on some multivitamin. They're going to realize your body is like Legos, and it could be missing certain Legos, but still be a little body if you've played with Legos, but you're missing little parts of it. So you can't build a really good body because you're missing parts of it.
You just said something quite important there, Naomi, that I just wanted to pick up on. And that is the quality of the vitamins that you are taking is absolutely essential.
Very, very essential. Back in the day, I think, Paula, you probably did the same thing when I was pregnant. Remember the prenatal vitamins?
Yes.
And they were huge and they were overfilled. And if you try to take them on an empty stomach, we're already nauseous anyways. Now we're definitely going to vomit for sure.
Yeah.
It's just the synthetic form of vitamins. Our bodies are going, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so much of it too, and they're overfilled. So the company I'm with, they don't. And actually your vitamins in the UK would be different than the vitamins that they sell in the US, because they look at the population in that area to see what they're mostly lacking in, which is really cool when it comes to tailored, because they're more than just, they're globally. So they have really put vitamins out in Australia. They're different there in Australia than what someone's going to need in New Zealand to someone, everyone's different in our different areas.
Yes.
What we're lacking.
Oh, that's amazing that a company will actually make a bespoke vitamin to suit your needs. That is really amazing. And it is the way forward too, because I don't want to buy a vitamin that's got stuff in that I don't need, because I probably would pee it straight back out again. I want to buy something that's bespoke to me, that what I'm lacking in, or my area, because it is area orientated towards the vitamins and minerals that you do need.
And then diet. You have a different diet than I have a different diet.
Yes, I definitely have a different diet to most people. My diet's quite frugal, I think. I don't spend a lot on food, but I do buy quality food that I believe is quality food. I try to eat as naturally as possible. I don't have any fried food, any crisps, any junk. Well, I say that loosely. Now and again, I might have a takeaway. It doesn't hurt now and again to have what you really like.
Oh, absolutely. Got to have some chocolate once in a while.
Yes. And you picked up on another thing, which was home products, what you use in your home.
Oh, absolutely. There's no regulations, that there should be more regulations to how many chemicals they're putting in products. And then I take it to my children, who pointed that out to me, especially with the increase of breast cancer and being a woman. And that they're like, Mom, did you know what's in that deodorant? And she stopped in her teens putting deodorant on. She's like, Mom, did you read that? And that's our generation, that they are concerned, and they're realizing that they're putting harmful chemicals that we're rubbing onto our skin that are getting into our body. It only takes 26 seconds for something we're putting on our skin to be absorbed into our body.
26 seconds?
Yep.
Wow. That's shocking. It really is.
Especially with the areas in your armpits, if you think about it, those are your lymphatics.
Yes.
There are a lot of lymphs there. And so you want your lymphs to be doing the right thing and not just having to deal with this toxic burden that we're putting on them. And so when my husband and I actually do a detox, we do a bentonite clay mask, even on our armpits, because we want to draw things out.
Yes.
And so and you see this shift happening because people are more aware. Especially, I know in the UK, though, you guys have a little more, you're more on it with the makeup than the US still sells makeup with lead in the lipstick.
Unfortunately, I think there are still some products that have lead. And, if we talk about what's inside our mouth, the amalgams and the metals that we have in our mouth, that's, the connections between that and health really have been researched quite thoroughly, and there is evidence to support that we shouldn't really be having these amalgam fillings in our mouth, and the metal root canals, and the vaccines that have got mercury in them. And these are all things that's well established, but it still goes on today. It's not stopped even now.
Yeah.
And this worries me.
The only way we can actually bring changes, that's why I have my own YouTube channel, is to educate people and have their eyes open and let them make thorough, educated decisions with their health. And and that really starts with what they're purchasing and how they purchase. And so if they have the purchasing power to change it, if people would come together and stop purchasing certain products that are that are toxic to us, the manufacturers wouldn't have a job there. They would have to come up with something better.
Yes.
So it's not just the lawsuits.
I think one of the issues are that the products that are less harmful to you are
Mhm.
much more expensive.
Mhm. They
And
are.
I had the shock of finding that, I wanted to go to the dentist and have holistic treatments,
Mhm.
have the amalgams removed, put Zionica implants in,
Yeah.
and the price is phenomenal.
And not covered by.
Nope.
Yeah, I have the same issue here.
Mm.
And I
So,
realize I'm the child of the 80s and have enamel fillings too. And I'm like, does that take place to me? I know I self-diagnosed whatever my problems with my brain and my like ADD mind. Who knows? Mercury goes to the brain.
yes. And the same with fluoride.
Oh,
We have
so bad.
fluoridated water here in the UK.
Oh, you do?
We do. And I even read on a bottle the other day that they've added fluoride to bottled water.
Easy.
And I showed my friend and said, look, there's fluoride in bottled water now. And you'll think you're
Oh,
buying really good quality water in a bottle. But no, there was actually fluoride. There'll always be naturally occurring fluoride in water anyway. But of course, when it's in a plastic bottle, the research suggests that whatever's in that bottle is going to grow. So if you've got fluoride in that bottle, it will grow.
hmm. Yeah, water is one of the things I know a lot about because of my specialty with my nursing, and so I've had to take a water class.
Yes.
And so I drink only filtered water, and I have my own filters. And the biggest toxins in water are fluoride and chloride,
Yes.
and chloride will kill you in a big population of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then and that's in your household cleaning products. That's what you shouldn't be cleaning your house with. I had a person in the ICU from cleaning her bathroom with bleach and did not dilute it,
Mm-hmm.
and it burned the inside of her lungs.
Wow.
And we had a hard time getting off our ventilators. So people don't realize that the chemicals that you think you're doing this job trying to clean all stuff, and actually bacteria, a lot of it is good for you. People need to
Yes.
go out in the dirt.
And the issue as well with cleaning products is the actual vapor spray type, which
Mm,
goes into the air and
yep.
you're inhaling that and you don't even realize it. It's very dangerous.
Yes, I have a reaction to a certain product here, and people have it in a lot of bathrooms. And if it's sprayed, it gives me a headache.
Mm-hmm.
And so almost walking down that aisle in a grocery store, I stay away from it because it can trigger a headache for me, and it can almost trigger a migraine headache for me.
Yes.
So artificial fragrances are that bad on me.
I don't
And
use an air freshener. I think they're absolutely fatal. And
yeah,
people are spraying them everywhere and I'm thinking, oh no.
yeah.
Even
And
in the
this is where
hospital.
you see more chemically sensitive people
Mm-hmm.
to those chemicals that
Yes.
are in stuff. So we don't do that. We make our own sprays with the oils. Everyone always says our little RV smells like a spa, because there's always something diffusing. But
Yes.
we have pets, and I use them for I diffuse a lot of them for my pets' emotional health. I
Mm-hmm.
have little anxious pets, and it helps with their anxiety.
Really?
Uh-huh.
And what is that?
So we use a lavender when the days we're not here, and we diffuse it.
Yeah. What,
And we
into
can,
a plug socket, you mean? A diffuser that you put into a plug socket?
yep,
Yeah.
and a little water, and then a few drops of lavender, and really helps keep the anxiety of them down. I have one that is a little anxious and one that's a semi-anxious.
And this is the essential oils that you're talking
Mhm.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd really love to explore the essential oils a lot more. I know that the products that you use are very, very good. They're very organic. If you'd
Hmm.
like to talk a bit more about those, because obviously this is what we use at home.
Yeah.
It is in-home products. They're called, is it Doterra?
Doterra. Yeah, I
Doterra.
have one right next to me. I'm put it in my water. It makes my water taste well. That's grapefruit.
You put essential oils in your water?
Yeah.
I've never
Um,
heard of that before.
mm. I would not do it with any other brand, but this is the rind of the grapefruit. So the rind of the grapefruit and the lifeblood of the plant, and it's pressed down. And I don't know exactly where our grapefruit from. I know our lemon essential oil is from Italy, so
Mm-hmm.
they're from all over the world. But so my water will taste like grapefruit, and plus I get all the benefits, and they will help remove toxins. And grapefruit's for weight loss. It's
That's
good for weight loss.
amazing.
So
What other essential oils can you ingest?
oh, they have a whole, any of them theirs that have a supplemental effect. And I wouldn't buy any other companies because I let my parents do that first. When we were playing with oils before we had Doterras, my stepmom was helping me with my kid, and we tried some. And she was reading about a particular oil that they would take orally. And even though it said it was pure in the bottle, we don't have really good regulations of any of that kind of stuff in the US. And therefore, they put a drop in their mouth, and my dad and my stepmom vomited horribly from the additives in the oils.
Oh,
And so their company, they have third-party testing where you can see there's a lot number where you can go and see all the testing that's done on that, so you can take it in orally.
and these are
And
things that you can do, you can use daily or weekly.
oh, I use daily.
You
There's
use that
always an
daily.
water daily because I water by itself is boring to me to drink. I either drink a hot tea or and sometimes coffee. But if I'm drinking water, I always, in a glass cup,
Yeah.
will have some citrus oil of some sort in there, lemon, grapefruit, lime. And they're also very good for mood. They're using them a lot in the hospitals here for emotional support
Really?
and stress. Mm-hmm.
And which actual oil would you use for emotional support?
Oh, there's a lot of them. And I've used a lot of them on my patients. I do dialysis. And so when their kidneys have completely failed, you are going to need dialysis. And most patients with their first time treatment are very anxious. Like if you were to go and get a procedure done, you're going to be anxious. And
Wow.
so, or you're going to have those feelings. So it will help calm those feelings down if we use a calming oil like lavender, cedarwood. Those are going to be calming. Even the citrus oils are a little calming to the sensation breathing them in.
Okay. So
And
I'd
so,
like to go full circle again, if I may. I want to bring
yeah,
you back to your daughter's health because did she have asthma as well as pneumonia?
she is asthmatic still, but she would get pneumonia every year.
Okay.
Um,
So what is it that you actually did to improve the health of your daughter and to get her into a place where she actually didn't have pneumonia anymore? Because this went on for year after year, didn't it?
mhm.
So
Yeah,
what step-by-step process did you go through, which meant she could come off the steroids, which meant that she wasn't visiting the doctors, which meant that she didn't have the pneumonia anymore, and it lessened the effects of the asthma?
we worked on boosting her immune system, and we got on a protocol with certain oils, with a diffuser in her room, and some we put on her feet, and make sure she's getting a really good rest at night. And that actually, when she was on steroids, if you've ever been on steroids, it's like they're extremely hyper, and they actually weaken your immune system. And when we're constantly on steroids, we're weakening your immune system. So we boosted our immune system, making sure she got on a vitamin supplement, and we got it on a oil regimen
Mm-hmm.
on a daily basis. And we had to step it up when she would be exposed to a virus or a stressor that would cause her some issues. But if we got her on a good regimen every day, then we were able to stop some of the inhalers that we were using, that they were every day, and able to keep her in school more, and able to keep her from being so sick. She would get sick so easy.
And how many years ago is this?
She's 18, so it's been 4 years. And doesn't mean she still gets sick, and we still have some issues, and we just take care of them pretty much naturally. And even though as a teen she kind of butts heads, but she would know, and she would keep actually some oils. They did a kid oil, one called Breathe, in a little roll-on, so she could take it to school, and before exercise she could put it on her chest, so it would help her with breathing before she would go and exercise.
So, and has this had a domino effect with her friends? You know, do they sort of go in for this sort of therapy as well now that they've seen it's been so good for your daughter?
Some of her friends, she was probably one of the sickest of her friends. Most of her friends are as sick as she was. But yes, they would like the ones, certain oils to smell better. And then there's some blends that help with that time of the month with girls with PMS.
Yeah.
And those are very popular since I have 3 girls.
Yeah.
And so they're like, Mom, I need that particular blend because it helps with that time of the and it's actually one of my other children have become extremely health conscious, and
Yes.
she jumps on me, Mom, like, oh, Mom, if you're drinking coconut milk, it should be carrageen free. I mean, it's like I've made a little monster out of her.
So in terms of the listeners, the audience, what can they do to be more proactive with their own health, starting with a small step today? What can you suggest to them?
Making sure, one, to drink pure. Since we talked so much about water, having a good water filtration system, and 2, getting and working on getting good rest, and that you're getting your 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night, and 2, really being proactive in your own health. What are you taking? Or 3, what are you taking as a supplement? What are you taking in your body? Maybe you just need to get rid of some of the chemicals in your house. We weren't told that we were using the artificial fragrances, and I didn't realize that was an asthma trigger. No one never, not one doctor said, hey, maybe you shouldn't be having those things in your house because those are asthma trigger. They test her for all sorts of weeds, grasses, and other things that are allergies, but she was more chemically sensitive to the things that I was having in my house that I didn't know that were making her sick. The household cleaning products, the artificial fragrances, those really are doing more harm than in the background of your life that you don't even realize it.
Well, not just in the background of your life, but also in the background of other people's lives. You know, these things that you're using to wash your hair with parabens in, and all the toxic products that you're flushing down the drain, they carry on again. They're just recycled. Can I ask you, Naomi, what would you suggest people can do today in order to be proactive with their own health? Just a simple step today.
Simple step is look at the products that you have in your house right now that you're using. Maybe some of the products in your house are toxic. You have artificial fragrances. Maybe it's Febreze or one of those products that are could be maybe you're suffering headaches and you don't even realize it's your products that are causing it.
Yeah.
Drinking good water. So even starting with a small filtration system you can buy at home, where you would just put your water in the separate system where you're getting good filtered water.
Yeah.
I really work on buying organic as much as possible, or supporting local farmers. I'm always into supporting local farmers. And then getting a good supplements in your life.
And you talked about the sleep, and you suggested 7 to 8 hours?
7 to 8 hours.
Gosh, that would be an absolute luxury for me to get 7 to 8 hours. I find 6.5 maybe, except if I'm off work, and then I'd probably stay in bed like I did this morning till 10 o'clock, which was very naughty of me. So I guess there is a time when you've deprived yourself of sleep, like I do, maybe 6.5 hours, that I will have 1 or 2 days where I play catch up. Is that beneficial?
Really, they say it's not. I heard people say they're catching up on sleep, but really they say the studies have said that it's best probably that we're getting the same or in a sleep regimen pattern, and we have circadian rhythms, and when we travel, we can throw those off. But we want to stay on those for the best. And I don't know if the catch-up sleep is really helpful, but I always love it on certain days when we just your body feels that it needs more rest, I think you should rest more.
Yeah.
When your body's telling you to rest more, you possibly should listen to it.
My body definitely said this morning, don't get up until 10 o'clock and treat yourself nice. And I still have one little sin, you know, I love to have a fresh coffee. And I know that it's not particularly good for me. But
Oh, no, I think coffee's fine and most of the
yeah,
time.
I still
Yeah,
have, I do have an organic coffee though. I must admit, I
yeah,
do
I
have
do.
an organic coffee.
I do. And I just, I do mine with coconut if I do it. And then I actually add some oils to my coffee.
Oh gosh.
Flavor.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've actually found a beautiful coconut milk, and it's fortified with vitamins and minerals as well.
Yep.
Because I'm strongly against cow's milk and the processes that they use to make this cow's milk fit for humans. And it really isn't fit for humans.
As much as everyone fits it in,
it's fit for cows, it's fit for calves. And it, you know, the processes they're putting through are actually quite damaging for us as a human to have that milk. So the coconut milk, I heard someone say, well, I think that you're damaging the earth, because look at how much water the trees need to grow coconuts. Oh dear, you can't win whichever way. People will always come up with a reason why they shouldn't go milk free and take a milk alternative.
I think a woman might if they would look into their hormones. I went off dairy for my hormones because it will interfere with your hormones.
Really? In what way?
Yeah. So because of there's multiple ways. In the US, they will actually do growth hormones, and they'll give growth hormones to the cows. And then they feed a lot of the cows here a lot of soy. So whatever that cow had, you're getting. So if they fed it a lot of GMO corn and soy, you're getting that with the milk.
Mm-hmm. And also dairy. With the meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get grass-fed beef if possible. And most of the time we can do that. Mm. But I had my own hormonal issues and realized I love dairy, but I'm not like a cow like milk drinker as much as I like cheese, you know?
I love cheese as well.
Yeah, I did know dairy, and I now I do very, very little dairy. Mm-hmm. Very, very little. It's in very small occasions. But we did a 30-day cleanse because you don't know what foods that you've been objecting your body to that could be causing harm.
Yes.
Until you cut them out almost for 28 days to 30 days.
So when someone does a 30-day cleanse, what would that involve?
Oh, my husband and I did a 30-day cleanse where we had a couple added supplements that we do it. We have one that helps with our kidneys, one that helps with our gut. And so when they say health starts from the gut, it really does. So those are some products that we use that, my dog in the background. The little, we think of it here as a garden.
Just wait till your dog stops barking.
Jazzy. No. Hold on, I'll grab her. Come here. Jazzy. Come here. It's my rescue.
Lovely.
My rescue dog. And the rescue dog is our more anxious. Aww. Probably because she lived in the woods for so long. See? Fine. You're fine. I literally found her in the woods.
Oh.
And the oils helped heal her. Somebody abandoned her.
Oh, how could they?
I know. So she's my rescue dog. And so her anxiety is, I think, just because she now knows she's in a good home, and so she hears something, she freaks out. Oh, baby. She's just she's my anxious girl.
Look at her looking.
Yeah, she is looking at you.
So
She
funny.
used my my little rescue fluff. We only had 2 until I found her, but she wouldn't come by anybody. And oil saved this dog's life. She was, I think, abused, and jasmine oil. You're gonna yawn now. Jasmine oil. My dogs like the smell of it, and I put it on my hands and got at her level, and she came to me. She wouldn't come to anybody.
That's amazing.
And
So, or essential oils are really beneficial to pets as well.
yeah, it helped heal up all her skin. She had major skin issues, and we never had to go see a vet until we had to get shots.
Right.
And
yeah,
and now she's in good health.
So with you do still give your dog shots because you have to, is that?
Yeah,
that
we
is
have
the
to.
law.
Yeah, I don't really wanted to but if you have to board them or you take them to get groomed, which she has to get groomed, they request them. The rabies more than anything. So you can do, not all of them, you can only do rabies.
But then you could probably do a detox for your dog as well.
I do some stuff with them. Yeah, I'm very careful about the food that I buy them. And the dogs, we use oils on them a lot. One of them has arthritis, my old one. So we use oils on her too. And so I did a probiotic with them just recently. I bought a dog food with some probiotic for them. Because when we were doing our stuff, I'm like, maybe we should get this probiotic for them and think about their gut health.
Yes, I am absolutely sure that the dogs would also need probiotics. I started fermenting my own vegetables because I believe that probiotics are better when they come from something that you've bought yourself and you've fermented yourself. Fermented foods are absolutely amazing when it comes to improving your gut biome. It really.
Do you make your kombucha?
I don't. That's one that I've not learned to do yet. I've just fermented my own vegetables. I love doing, I've got one that's really tasty with beetroot and red cabbage. I've done the carrots and the sweet potatoes and the carrots. Yeah, that's right. Carrots, sweet potatoes. I've done the sauerkraut, and I loved one with celeriac and cucumber and something else I put in it, a white vegetable, and that was really, really tasty. But when it comes to winter, for some reason, I don't want to have them anymore. I don't know why. I just find they're much tastier in the summer when I can have them with a salad. But in the winter, I find it difficult to get enough fermented vegetables into my diet because I just don't want them. I don't want salad in the winter.
Yeah, my husband, I turned him into a kombucha fan. Now he loves kombucha.
Yes, I've not learnt that one. I've got the recipe for it. I thought that looks a bit like hard work to me.
It does to me. I'd rather buy it.
Yeah, buy it instead. That's where I might maybe find it. So I'm going to put you on the spot. I wanted to ask you, have you got a favourite quote?
I can think of Rachel Hollis's. I read her book and I'm a huge fan of hers.
Yes.
And did you read her book?
I haven't. I don't actually know who Rachel Hollis is.
Oh, she has a fabulous book. And she says, other opinions of you do not matter. Other people's opinions of you do not matter. Yeah,
that's a really good saying. You know, I quote that quite often because you cannot take responsibility for what other people think about you unless what you've done has made them think that way about you.
Exactly.
But
well, she has social media, huge social media following. So
yes. Yeah, I'll look her up. And there was another thing that I wanted to ask you as well. If you were to sum up briefly the products that you use, what would that be?
I use Doterra skincare line and shampoo line, to be honest.
Yeah.
I use their lines of health, my products, and I make my own cleaning products, which are cheaper.
Yeah.
So I don't need any of that. I make my own. And there's not a lot of other products in the house. We don't have a lot of other unhealthy products. I do buy, I'm really cautious about when I go shopping for dish soap or those that are all without chemicals.
Yeah.
So there are some of them I get. Do you guys get Whole Foods out there? So some of them at Whole Foods or
Yes.
trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're on quite an adventure at the moment. You told me that you're in an RV and at the moment you're in Georgia.
Yeah.
And you travel around, but while you're traveling around, you still work in hospitals. How does that work?
I get I'm here that as a travel nurse you can get a contract for a couple of months or maybe even a year in one spot.
Mm-hmm.
So we spent last winter in Florida, which was fun. We got to do Disney as an adult. And see really, really great beaches and experience really the culture of the US and different areas, very different East Coast, different from West Coast.
Yeah.
And New England, and got to go to Massachusetts and Maine and
Gosh, it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So the hospitals there are actually do integrate holistic care within the orthodox model?
Some of them are doing they'll do some essential oils and diffusing or even applying on the patients. At the one I'm at, they are. And so they're integrating those. They even integrate sometimes even massage to the patients.
Yeah.
Which is a way to integrate. I wish they would have better nutrition.
Yeah.
The hospital food is probably some of the worst. But they do have those in the hospital settings here. So you do see some integration with healthcare system, and you see a big push for it. A lot of people want to be able to manage a lot of things at home, or they want to not be taking so many medications. And so gauge your doctor by how many meds he gets you off.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's quite difficult here in the UK because recently we had the news that they were actually cutting back with holistic therapies within the GP surgeries. And I see that as a real step back. And it becomes more difficult for people to be able to afford holistic care when it's not available through a GP.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not here at every single place. So if you want to see a holistic practitioner, a naturopath, only in certain states will that be covered by your insurance.
Okay.
There are some integrated. So like our company that I'm with, Essential Oils, they're training the doctors, and they're having some integrated healthcare clinics being built, even worldwide. So they might come that way.
I do feel that we are coming to the golden age now, to an era where people are waking up. And I believe in 50 years' time, we'll be looking back and we're saying, what the heck were we doing? Why did we allow all this stuff that was so bad for us to occur?
Yeah, I think that social media actually, and the age of information, people are, I've seen posts on Facebook where people are asking stuff and their health questions to people. And and then some of it, I'm like, hey, you still going to need to go to the ER. The ER is a good thing in some emergency situations.
Yeah.
Don't want to rate upon. And so there's still this other where people are looking to other people and they are distrusting our healthcare practitioners. And so there needs to be a push in how we train our healthcare practitioners.
Yes, I believe so.
In general.
Yeah.
Because we need to go back to nature, or back to what the foundation of medicine was. And we say the father of medicine, he took care of things naturally. Mm-hmm. He would have been appalled at how many pharmaceuticals that our people are on. I mean, the average 40 to 50-year-old could be on 10 different pharmaceutical drugs.
I saw a medical chart the other day, and they were on 16 different drugs.
Yeah.
16, oh my goodness.
And that interacts with this, and this interacts with that, and is it actually doing any good in some sense?
And of
We could
course, when some medication can reduce the length of your natural life, and it kills people. It is one
yeah,
of the biggest killers.
yeah. So as a dialysis nurse, I will see overdoses and people taking over-the-counter medications that will ruin their kidneys.
Yep.
Or we have a lot of medications that we give to people that can ruin your kidneys quick. Your kidneys are those organs that detoxify your body, and we neglect them so much.
Yes. So, now is the time to actually stop reaching for those painkillers like they're Smarties, and take responsibility. Your opening statements were, take responsibility for 80% of your health. And we are all able to do that.
We are. You are.
With the guidance.
Yep. And then you teach that to your children.
Yes.
And they can also. My parents are now on protocols and doing a lot of amazing oil stuff that is helping them as they age. And my dad may be on 2 pharmaceutical drugs in his almost 70s. That's it.
And there will always be a need for pharmaceuticals, but there is no reason why they can't work hand in hand with each other for the benefit of the patient.
Yep. And just be be informed users. Don't be taking a medication blindly. And in the hospital setting, I tell that to them too. I'm like, you should know everything that they're handing you, and you know why you're taking it. Don't blindly do whatever your doctor says or whatever without being educated on the side effects of that medication. There is a med out right now for lowering blood pressure. I've seen in the ICU 3 cases of taking this medication, and they've been taking it for years, cause angioedema and swelling in the lips and mouth, where we had to put a trach tube so that they could breathe, and they could not take that medication anymore.
And of course, a lot of these conditions can be managed by diet. You touched on it briefly, but that really is the first resort should be, if you've got high blood pressure, look at your food.
Diet. Yep.
And look at the exercise. Are you getting exercise? Because there is a definite link between lack of exercise and high blood pressure.
Yep. Absolutely. And diet. Huge. Yeah, with both of those things. Yeah,
absolutely. I know myself, when I stopped walking my dogs, when both my dogs passed away sadly, my blood pressure went sky high because I was no longer walking the dogs.
Oh, I find that's one of the best thing about owning a dog, is because they make you walk them.
Exactly. I would love to get another dog as soon as I get my own home. That is the first thing on my list, is to get another dog. I miss my dogs so much. They were my therapist. They gave me unconditional love. They didn't care if I came home in a bad mood, in a good mood, if I stunk, if it was nice and fresh. They love you regardless, and they're very therapeutic to have around. And I really, really miss my little Kevin and my big Layla, because I had a big German Shepherd called Layla and a little Dachshund called Kevin. Absolutely rascal. They loved each other dearly, and when one passed away, it wasn't long before the other one followed. They were so devoted to each other, like man and wife. If you can imagine a German Shepherd female and a sausage dog being like man and wife, they actually were. And they had feelings. They loved each other. Poor Layla, after Kevin passed away, she went into the deepest depression. She lost so much weight, and it was really sad to see her go that way. But the thing is, they do have these feelings. They're more human than we, I think.
They're
more mindful than us.
Yeah, they're my pet family now.
Yeah, and you have plenty of them, don't you?
We have 3 of them now. And traveling with them, so this is so much fun.
So if someone wanted to get in touch with you, how would they do that, Naomi?
You can email me at holistic-travel-nurse@gmail.com. And you can look up Holistic Travel Nurse. on any social media. I'm not on Twitter. I can't keep up on Twitter, but I am on Instagram, I am Facebook, and I have my YouTube. And I'm looking to do a podcast to educate also. And I have on my channel coming up soon, I am going to be interviewing some holistic practitioners. One of them is one friend from high school. She is lives in Dubai. So talk about time zone issue.
Yeah.
And, she is a board certified naturopath.
So we will be putting all of Naomi's links on the speaker platform, Coach on Fire Network radio show, and we will be putting them on the YouTube channel. So there's no need to write them down. If you want to get in touch with Naomi, I'll be leaving all the details available for you. So it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on Up Your Vibe to share your knowledge and wisdom, Naomi. Thank you very much for being the guest speaker today.
Thank you so much for having me. Enjoyed it.
And what was your little doggy's name?
My rescue is Jazzy, after jasmine essential oil.
And thank you, Jazzy, for making a guest appearance too. A proper little superstar. Okay, take good care, and lots of love to the audience. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes, God bless.
Bye.